Yes, so I was thinking to myself that I would look up online and see what Meryl's middle name was, and if that worked, I could use that name just for my own fun. But that's when I found out that her actual given name was Mary Louise, which suited the character so perfectly. And so that was a career highlight.
Liane, welcome to Fascinated.
Thank you so much.
25 million books sold, translated into 40 languages, multiple Emmys, Golden Globes, Meryl, Nicole, Reese. Jeez, life took a turn.
Life did take a turn. It took a few little turns all along the way and then one big turn.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. I read that you consider yourself a shy person.
Did I say that? I think I probably would have said an introverted person, but I'm not a complete introvert. Because I can always remember, actually, there was a time in my life where I was single and I was working and I was living on my own and I was working as a writer, and I suddenly thought, I'm going to have to go and get a job. I can't be without anybody all day long. That was too much.
Okay, so you describe yourself as introverted.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So
I think most authors are.
do you? Yeah. Because it's funny to have to do all this. Does it sit then uncomfortably with you when you do, say, a big tour like this to promote Big Little Truths? And I suppose for every book that you've done, how do you feel about it all?
I always think it's a really funny thing that you're expected to be the sort of person who can sit in your office or wherever and just be completely in your mind, and then now you must be an entirely different sort of person and come on stage and chat. I guess it just uses a different part of your brain, and I love meeting readers. That's really important to me, so I would never want to not do any of this. And I love talking to you. I don't like...
We've just met.
Yeah, I know. But I still love talking to you. You seem very lovely.
Oh, thank you. Not all my guests say that, but thank you.
But I don't love it afterwards. I don't love if I see a little glimpse of me, and then I can become overcome with self-consciousness.
So even at this stage of your career, when you have achieved so much and had so much success, you still feel that you feel that way?
Yeah, I think so. And so I'm going to do an event tonight launching the book, and I know I will love meeting the readers, and I will actually enjoy being on stage. But there will be something that I will wake up in the middle of the night and I'll think, why did you say that? And that's the only bad part, really. And I just couldn't do it for too long before I'd start to lose my mind.
Okay, well, let's go back to the beginning then. And you are from a very interesting family and a family of writers. And for those who don't know, both of your sisters are very successful writers.
Yeah, well, I've got 4 sisters, so two of the 4 are successful writers, yeah. And it was actually my sister Jacqui who was published first, so she was the inspiration for me to become a writer.
And growing up, your dad, he paid you?
Yes, he said, I will commission you to write. So he gave us our first publishing deals, $1 for an exercise book filled with words.
It's a good deal.
It's a good, well, yeah, it's not enough for my children.
So talk to me about your sisters and the 2 writers. What made you want to follow, as you said, one of your sisters was published first, Jacqui. What made you say, okay, I think I can do this? Were you all encouraging each other? Is it something innate in your family that made you want to write?
Well, definitely when I was little, I assumed I would be a writer, and I loved to write. Which is something I'm always trying to do now, to get back to that really unself-conscious, just writing for the pleasure of writing, the way you do anything as a child. But then, and as I grew older, I had a career that always involved writing in some form. And I wrote a lot of first chapters that didn't go anywhere. So it was seeing Jacqui do it first that made me think, okay, it's possible for a normal person to get published. So, yeah, and I don't know that is it innate? Well, Dad was a storyteller and Mum's still an amazing storyteller. So it was just something that I loved to do, but I didn't have enough confidence to try and to finish that first book until I had that drive.
And was your first book a children's book? Is that correct?
So I did write a children's book that was enthusiastically rejected by every
Enthusiastically?
Publisher. Yes.
How do those publishers feel today?
Well, no, I don't know that it was. I don't think it was particularly good, that first children's book. But then I settled down, and then Three Wishes was my first novel.
Okay. Would you ever go back to writing a children's book?
Well, I did actually. I wrote 3 which were published because when my youngest sister Nicola, who is also an author, when she was 10 and I'm 15 years older than her, I wrote a story for her. And Nicola Berry was the name of the character. So I had that, and that. Many years later, I did get published. So I've done a series of 3 books for children, intergalactic adventure series.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, so when you were working in sort of that marketing advertising space, were you writing on the side and when was the big break?
Really the only thing I finished in that time when I was working in advertising and marketing was that story for my little sister. And so it wasn't, the big break was Three Wishes when I finally got that published. I working as a freelance advertising copywriter, and I kept doing that over the years because I wasn't earning enough to work as a full-time author, and I let the most annoying clients go one by one until finally I was out.
That's nice to have the privilege to let annoying people out of your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so was it always the dream to be able to do this?
Yes. Yeah,
that was always the goal.
Yes, absolutely.
It is wonderful, I think, your journey. And I guess what would be your advice to writers? Because as someone who has had phenomenal success and, as you say, had your books translated into series and movies and been at that level and know the most famous people in the world, and if you're just sitting there at your desk and you want to be a writer, what do you say to people when they ask you?
Well, the biggest challenge, I think, is finishing something. And so I was saying to somebody last night that accountability helps, as in having somebody help you feel accountable, because now I've got contracts, so now I do feel accountable. But if you have, even if you could join a writers group, often that helps because then you're all encouraging each other. Or even if you just had one person and you said to them, you've got to give me so many words by the first of the month or whatever it is, then something that keeps you going.
Okay. And do you find now, because you are, I would assume you're quite a private person in your own personal life, do people recognise you in the street? Can you go to Coles and go shopping?
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, I'm in Coles.
That's nice.
Yes, I'd probably, every now and then, though, it does happen that I'll just be in my normal, just with the trolley, and somebody will suddenly say, love your books, and then just keep walking. So to me, it is, it's the loveliest level of fame because it doesn't interfere with my life in any way whatsoever, but just every now and then I get the most beautiful compliment and that lights up my day. So
just while you're out and about.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're famous, but you're not famous in that way.
No.
Which is a very unique position to be in, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's perfect.
Because what does your family think about it? Because I read that your husband doesn't mind going to a premiere. Is that true?
He's good. He's very, well, he enjoys it because I think he doesn't feel any pressure, so he can just enjoy it's not a working day for him. Plus he's a man, so he just puts on a suit and, you know, looks great immediately, and I have to go through the hours to make me look barely acceptable. He just, and I do actually enjoy just seeing a little glimpse into that world without it being a big part of my life.
Because a little glimpse is probably an understatement in terms of where you've been and the people that you know. Like even the fact you wrote a character for Meryl Streep in the hope that one day, maybe one day she would play.
Yes.
And her name is her name.
Yes, so I was thinking to myself that I would look up online and see what Meryl's middle name was, and if that worked, I could use that name just for my own fun. But that's when I found out that her actual given name was Mary Louise, which suited the character so perfectly. And so that was a career highlight.
And you're smiling about it now for those who are listening along on the podcast. But that day must have been for you such a remarkable day to get a phone call to say, hey, she's in for the series.
I got text messages. I got a text message that said, because beforehand they were laughing at me saying, "Oh, you've become so Hollywood, Liane. Look at you saying, 'Get me, Meryl.'" And
did you say it like that?
No, I didn't. I wasn't. I was more saying, well, not quite believing my own audacity, saying, "I've written this role for Meryl Streep. Why not?" And then they sent the text saying, "We got you, Meryl." So that was, yes, a moment of goosebumps.
Do you talk to her?
No.
You never know.
I did meet her, and that was lovely. But
what did she say to you?
I think she was just very nice to me. I think she's used to people being very starstruck, and she was just very charismatic and kind.
But having Nicole as well in the series and being an Australian, have you sort of struck up a relationship given the fact that you both have spent so much time of your lives in Sydney?
Yes, and she comes to Sydney regularly, so that's really nice. But because I think a lot of people think I live in LA, but I do not. I'm in Sydney.
She's just like one of us.
Yeah, I'm just there in Coles, and I wouldn't want to live in LA.
You don't strike me as someone, Liane, that would want to live in LA in the best possible way.
Yeah, I know. I take it as a compliment. No, that would not suit me at all. But yeah, Nicole does come over to Australia on a regular basis. So that's been really nice.
And obviously Big Little Lies is the book and the series that catapulted you, I guess, into the stratosphere. But did you want to write Big Little Truths? Because there's quite a time gap between the two.
Well, originally I said no, because I can remember when the book first came out that Reese Witherspoon emailed me.
Of course she did.
And said, people are asking, is there any chance of a sequel? And I can remember I said something like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be like the Game of Thrones guy. I'm not interested in writing a sequel. But then I did start to say, well, maybe it would work when, so Big Little Lies begins when the children are just starting school. And I wrote that because my own children were starting school, and I felt that it was becoming a school parent was sort of like moving to a new village.
Yes, yes.
So I wanted, and I think I just explore whatever's preoccupying me. And so I thought, and I did say out loud that maybe when my kids are teenagers, that could be something to consider. But then the years went by, and I'd sort of go in and out of thinking, will I do this? And then I was actually writing a book which was set in a high school with a similar plot, which you've read the book, so you
I'm not going to do any spoilers because it actually comes out today. So yes, we're not going to do that on this podcast. You've got to buy the book.
Exactly, but you know the plot line.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and then there was sort of a new, so it would ebb and flow, the interest in a new season of the HBO series.
Yes.
And there was another sort of swell of, what if we did it? And that's when it suddenly occurred to me that I could take that high school story and I could give it to the Big Little Lies world. And so that's how it all sort of finally came together.
Because when you get that email from Reese, I suppose you want autonomy over your story too, because if you said no, would they do it anyway?
Yes, and that was part of that was part of what impetus for me was thinking if they're going to do it, I'd rather they did it with my book. And then once I had this idea, and my children were teenagers, and they were providing a wealth of not material but inspiration, and then I thought, that would be great if. As you say, not control, but it is a strange feeling seeing your characters go off and doing their own thing.
So with your kids, have they read it?
No, they haven't yet. No, I know. And they did say, because I was thinking about the language for the book, and they say to me, "Don't even try to get it right. You won't. You won't."
It's like when I say 6, 7 to my kids, and they think I'm a loser.
Well, as soon as we started saying 6, 7, it was all over.
That's right. That's right.
They weren't going to say it anymore. And we think we're getting it right. I'm saying, I understand the irony. I think I really get what you mean. Yeah.
So they haven't read it, but they will, or have they read all your books?
No. My daughter, when she was little, the children's book, she read those. She loved the children's books, and she would actually, at the school library, she would take out my book all the time. I think because she felt like, this is my mother, nobody else should take out the book. It was very cute.
It's actually gorgeous.
Yeah, I know, because of course the books were at home, but she'd just take it out as in a sort of possessive way. She's not so, she wouldn't do that now.
Because how hard is it to write about teenagers? I think the pressure to be in their world and to write from their point of view, I think would be really difficult. Yeah,
and it was, and I had to sort of. I'm sort of in that world, so teenagers are a big part of my world now. So my children and all their friends, and I adore teenagers. I love them. So in that way, I felt I could do it, but I did have to put my own children out of my head. And it's really like anything, I've had to write about people from entirely different walks of life, and just try to inhabit their world, and of course I was a teenager once, and I think I can access that part of me. My mum, she can still really clearly remember what it was like to be a teenager. I think it's a really a part of your life that really sticks with you for a long time.
It's very wise. One of the things I loved, and not giving away any spoilers about the book, and you do this, the WhatsApp groups. And I was telling you before we started recording, I remove myself. I wait till the middle of the night and then I get my friend to write a message after I've left it. So it says I've left the group.
So then it's buried.
And then there's like buried between other messages. You write these WhatsApp groups and they just speak to me. Are you in any?
I am, and I have to admit I'm the lurker. And there was one WhatsApp year group where I didn't say anything for all year until one day I was out walking the dog, and apparently my phone must have been bouncing against my leg. So it suddenly said Liane Moriarty, and there was just the letter A. So it was like I was saying, just this huge message.
As the writer, the contribution.
That's all I was. And my husband was calling me to say, stop it, you're on the WhatsApp group. It was so embarrassing. It's especially embarrassing when you say nothing for all that time and then you're suddenly shouting.
What was the feedback on that?
Well, I was saying, how do I delete? I needed, of course, one of my children to help delete it for me. And then it looked worse because then I had to do an apology, and then people were disappointed because they couldn't see what I'd written. So then they
probably started a side chat.
Yes.
What do you reckon she wrote? Did anyone see?
And I think they thought it was worse. I should have just left the there rather than the explanation blaming the Labrador. And then I think my husband put, sure, we believe you or something. So that was
He
bad.
saved you. He saved you. So do you read your reviews good and bad, or do you consume what people say about you, or do you sort of remove yourself from all of that now?
I think I've learned to remove myself as much as I can. I used to feel that I was sort of obliged to take my feedback, but it's hard because even if you get everybody feels this. I think that if you see a whole lot of wonderful comments, it's that one comment that will stick with you forever, and then it's in there, and then you're sort of operating from a defensive mode, or you're when I'm writing, I'm almost defending myself against that one person. I remember there was one a reader review once that said, she's trying to sound too hard to sound Australian. Nobody in that area calls each other mate. They don't say mate. And so it still happens whenever people in my local area say thanks, mate. I think, see, of course they do. But what's the point of that? That woman doesn't know. She doesn't know all these years later. I'm still thinking about that.
Isn't that amazing, though, for all the success that you've had? And I think this is a uniquely female problem in many ways, that we obsess about the one thing that someone said. I know I do that.
Yeah. Do you think it's just women? I wonder if, or do you think men are better at just?
I think men are better at compartmentalising.
Yes,
like my husband will go, "What do you worry about that thing?"
Yeah.
Whereas I'll sit there and stew on it for
I'll
worry.
Stew.
And I think I'm a stewer.
Yes.
And maybe that's not a female. Maybe
it's just us. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely do. I feel like my children growing up in the digital world, they just say that's as if they understand that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
That people say this sort of thing online, and why would you take that seriously?
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't read nowadays, but you used to.
Yep.
Yeah. Most people say wonderful things about you nowadays, though.
Thank you. Don't. I'll be tempted to look, and then I'll still see that person saying she still thinks people say mate.
Yeah. And how many years ago was that?
Oh, that was many years ago.
It's still there in your head, Liane. It's still in your head. Well, let's talk about. I wanted to talk about your health too, because we were talking about you being a bit of an introvert, and to have to be public about a breast cancer diagnosis too. I imagine that was. It's hard. It's so challenging for anyone who goes through that, but to have a public profile and to keep that to yourself and then decide to share that with the world. Did you wrestle with that?
A little bit. I didn't have to. There was not, I'm not Kylie Minogue. Nobody would sort of care either way. It would have been very easy
to
not to have not said anything. But then, there was I did. It just seemed. It seemed like because I often hear stories of people getting a diagnosis because something reminds them to. So I know somebody whose friend was getting a mammogram, and she thought, I'll just come along with you and get one, and then she was actually the one who got the diagnosis. So if there's something that might be that little thing that. And especially it was after COVID when my first diagnosis, when people had all got really behind with their
health checks.
With their health checks. So I thought, well, why not? And then it was really I was sort of glad that I did, because people were so lovely about it, and it's so common. So there are just so many people that have shared stories with me. So
are you glad that you did it to help people?
I think so. I went back and forth then, and then I had the second diagnosis more recently, and again caught early, and again I could have said nothing, but I think the interviews were all happening. I was sort of in the middle of, and it was too top of mind
to not say.
Yeah. And I think just because also talking to other women, then it was just if you're chatting, I felt I just chatted about it, and then again, there was still no obligation.
Do you feel well now?
No, I feel very well, thank you. Yeah,
that's good because you've got a lot on your plate.
I do, at the moment, yeah.
Because we're talking to you in Melbourne, but you're going down to Hobart. You're doing a couple of days here, and then you're back in Sydney as well.
And then the US and the UK. That's a. Yeah,
so how many months will you do this for?
No, it's not many months. And in fact, some authors go for much longer, especially in America. They can, because there's obviously you could tour forever.
You don't strike me as someone who'd want to do that
I
forever.
could not. I go a little bit crazy by the end of. So this will be, I think, 5 to 6 weeks. I think it is, and that will be enough. And then I can't talk about myself again for months because there's this horrible time in the middle where I think, oh, you're starting to like this. I'm liking
where are we?
talking about where I'm at the beginning where I'm at the beginning where I'm a little bit sort of not a bit stumbly. But then when you're in the middle, you've said it so many times, you get really smooth. Oh. And then I think, oh, you're getting too smooth. Who do you think you are? And then by the end, it's a self-loathing. That's by the end of it.
Self-loathing?
It's just, you can't talk. It's, the author Toni Jordan said to me once, she said she thinks the reason that we feel so strange after you've done an event is because you feel like you've broken the social contract because you've talked about yourself for a whole night, which isn't... See, it's not quite normal for you and I to be talking like this. I should be asking questions of you.
Oh, no, I hate talking about myself.
Well, there you go. Do you? That's interesting.
That's why I like interviewing people.
Really?
Yeah,
do you?
I just get really embarrassed.
Yeah, well, there you go. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing, yeah.
Okay, so what do you do for yourself then? So you do your 6-week tour and you've written a book, many books, but you finished this book. And what do you do to treat yourself then? What's your special thing?
Well, Aperol spritzers are
fantastic.
Really good.
Just get them by the bucket.
Good Aperol spritz. Elderflower spritzers are quite nice too.
Yes, this Hugo spritz.
Yeah. All spritzers are nice.
Fine. But is it taking a break? Is it switching your phone off?
Yes,
Like, what do you do?
It's just reading really. It's just being back to normal life. And then I always think, I won't do anything at all for a while. I'll just be a lady. But then I do find you can just lose days in just domestic.
Coals.
Yes. And then I find, okay, I'm ready to write a new book because that's what makes me happy.
So have you got one already sort of in the back of your mind?
No. So that's what I'll be doing when I come back after. There's no more spritzes, then it's just allowing the thoughts to come into my head to what will the next one be.
Do you lock yourself up in your house and kind of sit there and get in your own head, or do you go out? Like, what is it? How do you get your inspiration?
It's more you need a little bit of both. I feel I need the more locking myself in my room once the novel has momentum. Mm-hmm. But in the early days, I can't just sit there and think, I am thinking. I need to be out walking and out seeing people.
Because I read a quote from you, and the quote is, "You're definitely an eavesdropper." Oh, yes. Some of the conversations you hear, you go out to dinner and you listen with a glazed expression across your face and you listen to what people are saying.
Well, that's what my mum, I think I was probably talking about, mum's face would glaze over.
I know exactly what you mean by that, though, because you're having two conversations at once.
And you think, actually, this conversation's really interesting once. And it is. I was just sitting somewhere the other day and a couple was walking by and they were in the middle of a real issue. I couldn't hear the words, but just watching, thinking, I wonder what's going on. But yeah, I don't. I was going to say I don't steal exactly what I'm hearing, but I'm interested in what's going on around me.
So if anyone's listening to this and they recognise you and you're kind of looking at them with a glazed expression, you know you're listening in. That's what you're doing. I was going to ask you your favourite of all of the novels you've written, because mine is Here One Moment. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And if any of our listeners haven't read it yet, it's my favourite. And the way you came into the creativity or the idea of that was you were sitting on a plane.
I was sitting on a plane, and I'm so happy that you said that was your favourite, because to me it feels like that was the most personal for me and at that time in my life, because a few things had happened. So first of all, my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer. Then we lost our dad. Then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And the pandemic was in the middle of all that. So I was sort of really at a time in my life thinking of my own mortality. And I had got really to a great age without having experienced death. It's really interesting that in the Western world, this is not the case for everybody, but obviously some people lose somebody really close to them when they're really little. But I had been so lucky. So I was just thinking on this delayed flight, thinking about the fact that obviously everybody on this plane was one day going to die, and wondering about, as I looked around at everybody, I was just thinking, I wonder what it will be for you. Will you be the one who's unexpectedly, something terrible happens and it's earlier than it should be, or will you be the one who makes it to 90 or 100 or more these days? And that's when I thought, imagine if somebody stood up, and that's when I was thinking, and it was so interesting to me that even though we didn't know that now, one day those facts would be available. Somebody would be able to see all those names, and the cause of death for everybody would just be there. So it's just that we don't know those facts now. And so that's when I thought, imagine if somebody got up and walked down the plane telling everybody the age of death and cause of death.
And that is essentially the start of the book, and the way that you develop the characters through, and the twists and the turns, which you're obviously so good at. Why is that your favourite?
Of the book.
Of your book, yeah.
I think because it was the most personal, and I guess I was just trying to really explore the idea of fate. So was it? Could anybody say that this will be your age of death, cause of death, and destiny? And I went to see a fortune teller, and in the end, I came away thinking I don't believe that anything is predestined. And because I can always remember thinking, well, even if there is something that's in me right now that could be my cause of death, maybe there is some young person who right now is thinking, will I do this course or will I do that course? And they're about to choose the course, and they're this brilliant young person who's going to cure whatever this thing is that could otherwise have killed
sliding
me.
doors.
Yeah.
It has been a fascinating chat. So I know Hugo, Aperol spritzes are your hobby. Do you have another hobby?
Yes, it feels like I need something more, doesn't it?
Well, yes and no.
Reading.
Yeah.
I like to ski. I like to snow ski. So I'll be going. That's
your
something
treat.
else that we'll be doing at the end of the year once all this is done. So family, friends, that seems to be enough.
That's perfect. And final question: what fascinates you?
What fascinates? Oh, this is a question. What fascinates
me?
me?
What can be either.
Well, humanity fascinates me, I guess. So, yes, because you said you don't like having questions asked of you. So now I'm fascinated by you and want to ask you. I
can't wait to see myself in your next book.
Yes, that's right. So people, I think it's just people.
You're wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jacqui.